So this is a summary of the properties of radiation. Penetrating power, low, medium and high. I'm just going to change to a blue pen. Range of radiation, and I'm just going to write in thin paper, stopped by thin paper. So it's very short range. Beta is stopped by a couple of millimeters of aluminium. And lead would have to be stopped by several centimeters or more. Or gamma would have to be stopped by several centimeters or more of lead. Most dangerous outside your body is gamma. Most dangerous inside the body is alpha. Beta would just have a medium effect there. And affected by a magnetic field, and it's only the charged particles which are affected by a magnetic field. So that's alpha and beta. And gamma is not affected at all. So now we have a wee question about matching the types of radiation. An alpha particle is a helium nucleus, and I'm going to draw an arrow down here. And it's stopped by paper or skin, reduced by lead, or stopped by aluminium. It is, of course, stopped by paper or skin, and therefore I'm going to put an arrow up there. So a different colour, green maybe. Beta is a high energy electron. And reduced by lead or stopped by aluminium, it's stopped by aluminium. Okay, so all we're left with then is gamma. And gamma is electromagnetic radiation. And it is stopped by lead or reduced by lead. It's not actually stopped by lead. And that's a big problem, of course. So the next podcast there, the next part of the podcast, is just a little bit more about ionizing radiation. So there's really only two types of ionizing radiation. Alpha and beta are both ionizing radiation. And they're ionizing radiation because they're charged, and then they can cause other materials to be charged as a result of that. Gamma does not ionize. So what happens if radiation is incident upon a living cell? And this is a big problem for us of radiation. Radiation can ionize cells, which causes cell damage. If the exposure is high, it can kill the cell. If the exposure is lower, it can cause illnesses such as cancer. And that's very dangerous to us. The higher the exposure, the greater the risk of cancer. The greater the risk of cancer. So, in terms of what's the most ionizing radiation, the most ionizing radiation is alpha radiation because it's got the most charge. It's got a charge of +2. I'm just going to write that in there. And gamma is the least, and it hardly ionizes at all. So ionizing radiation can actually be used to treat cancer. And the reason is because not only does it ionize cells in the body, but it can also kill cancer cells as well. Or it can also kill healthy cells, which is a big problem too. So what is ionization? And you should know this from chemistry. Ionization is the removal or addition of electrons to an atom. To or from an atom, I should say. And then it causes it to be positively or negatively charged. How is a neutral atom positively ionized? It is positively ionized whenever it loses an electron. So an alpha particle could do that to an atom. It could cause an atom to lose an electron. How is a neutral atom negatively ionized? An electron might be added. And it has an overall charge, a negative overall charge. What two effects on living cells can ionization have? It can cause cancer or kill cells. Now that's good if you're trying to treat your cancer cells. That could happen. I just want to show you what happens actually. You know the double helix that you would have in all cells, this idea here with your wee strands in between. Well, when radiation comes in, it breaks part of the helix. But if the radiation can break two sides of the helix, then you have a potential abnormal cell, and that abnormal cell, if it multiplies, then can cause a cancerous growth. Which type of radiation is most ionizing? The answer, we did it over the page, is alpha. And which type of radiation is least ionizing? The answer is gamma. This is the last question, our last set of questions. Feel free, please, to turn off the podcast, answer the questions, and then come back. So I'll let you see all the questions in case you just want to do them on your own first. So most penetrating is gamma. Least penetrating is alpha, and the reason is because its energy is reduced because it ionizes so many cells and so on, particles or substances that it passes through. Least dangerous outside the body is alpha, but most dangerous inside the body is also alpha. So please be very careful you get the difference between those. High energy electrons are beta particles, has a negative charge, beta particles. Weakly ionizing beta particles again, has zero charge and zero mass is gamma, and only reduced in intensity by lead and concrete. The answer is gamma.